We didn't have any as of 2009 when we came out of investment banking. By 2014, when we kicked off, we had accumulated enough buy-side experience, which is very different from the job of investment banking. In investment banking, you see some of the elements of it, like M&A processes and ability to concoct an equity story, etc. But you don't see some of the, in fact, most of the portfolio management and the value creation that follows the specific M&A transaction. A lot of what we learned over the years in M&A came in very handy, especially for exits. For us, we are very creative in terms of coming up with exits. We target strategic buyers as our preeminent exit avenue. It's effectively, the majority of the buyers of our assets are former clients of ours for the previous 20 years. And that's really what I think has contributed to our ability to exit in full our Fund 1 within the first 10 years, and to already have exits in our second fund that amount to one-time capital. So it's exits, we're very exit focused.
Just explain to me how it is that you already know this buyer community. Is it a function of the fintech universe being relatively concentrated and your backgrounds?
Yeah, I think that's
part of it.
Yeah, a huge contributor. So if you think about our experience set in the lead up to when we left investment banking 2009, we had worked on many of the marquee transactions, taking Visa public, taking Mastercard public, taking First Data private. So every major deal that you can imagine.
Worldpay.
And Worldpay, so Worldpay with Advent and Bain. So what's interesting is many of those people that we were working with at that time, who were sort of mid-level professionals in those organizations, today are actually in the leadership of those organizations. So if you think of Michael May back at Mastercard, he was actually head of product at some point at that point. And
why were you interfacing with the mid-level if you're working on M&A?
Because typically you're working with the strategy teams in those organizations, right?
And also, especially when you're an associate, for instance, which is really when you build the strongest relationship, or when you become a VP, you're interacting with people roughly at the same mid-level.
Sure,
it's your boss, it's a big MD that interacts. Then when we became senior, these people became senior too.
So actually at the heart of APIS, and this is really coming back to the secret sauce or whatever it is, our network, right? And this network is incredible. Now, to your point that you made earlier, absolutely right. It is actually quite concentrated. I think what people don't realize is, even though the world is a very large place, the fintech community within that world is actually quite small, because the people tend to move around quite a bit. There's a sort of group of people, a nexus of people that tend to move from place to place. Our process is, before we actually buy an asset, we will ring up the 4 or 5 most likely buyers, we think the 4 or 5 most likely buyers of that asset, and actually ask them. So they give us a nice menu of what to do, and then we build the company around the menu. And over 90%, I think, as Matteo was talking earlier, we are very focused on strategic exits.